That is the sound of the jar of names, and we shall get out a name from the jar of names. I have one. This video is for everyone, including but not excluded to Max Ravage. Right, so welcome to A Cup of Tea and a Podcast. This is the cup of tea. Ah, tastes like happiness. And this is the podcast. Right then, so what we can do in this episode is on the comment section. Eventually, some time down in the future, there will be a skip list where you can skip to this week's update, this week's topic, this week's question, and of course this week's goals. But we shall start with the update now. Update on the behind log. How are we getting on with being behind? I will happily say we are doing very, very well right now, because everything has been edited. Everything to do with this channel in terms of Let's Plays are edited that I have. I'm recording the next 3 Dishonored videos in a second, and then I'll edit them as soon as I can, and then we'll back up to date and stuff like that. So obviously we'll talk about goals later on, but all I can say is everything that I have has been edited, which is fantastic, which means just need to render it, and I'm already ahead on rendering, so that's also pretty decent. This week sees the last of Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. The last episode will be out on Thursday, and then we'll obviously go from there. No, not Thursday, never mind, because we're behind. No, it'll be out sometime before Wednesday. And I would say stick around for the credits, because you might be interested, and you also might be slightly annoyed, depending on what you think. And then also with the pub crawl episode of Dishonored, I believe it was 34, we had a audio match for the bloody music player that they were playing in the pub. I turned it off, but not quick enough, it seems, because it got flagged and I removed it, so the audio might be a bit fishy at some points in that episode. I have listened to it again, and a few parts are a bit like a robotic, but the rest of it seems to be okay, so it's just that one part. So I apologise for that. These things happen. Okay then, so let's go on to this week's topic, which I have not written down on my list, so it's a good job I remembered. I'm going to read off the names that are going to happen for the videos this week that will come out before the next podcast. So then, we have got the podcast right now. It's what you're listening to. Hello. Might be a controversial podcast. Bear with me for that. And then after this, we'll have a Dishonored video called Familiarity. Familiarity. Such a hard word to say. Basically because we see some very familiar things, most notably my gear and something else, which is crazy because we're doing non-lethal takedowns. It's great. I loved it. I freaked out a little. And then after that, we'll have a Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones video called Box Salesman. Quite like that one. It's quite a fun episode. Then we have got a Dishonored video called Masked Men that you can probably think about to the lore of as Dishonored and try and think about what masked men we might be talking about. And then after that, we'll have the very last Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones video, which is called something, which I won't say because remember it's got something linked to the first title, so I won't spoil it in case you're interested. That'll be out sometime before Wednesday, like I said, and it's not too bad. It finishes at 30 minutes, the actual video, so it's actually good. Like usually when it's at the end of it, it usually goes on longer because of the credits, but it was a nice finish. Last boss fight I quite enjoyed, but you can see my full thoughts on the game when the credits roll on that video. So if you're interested in that, you can see it there. And then after that, we'll have a Dishonored video called Like Daisies, which is like the Mulan reference of they're popping out of the snow like daisies. So that's why it's called something like that, because of something similar. And then after that, we'll have a flooded texts pointing video for Dishonored, where I read off some books, as you do. And that's that. So let's now go on to the community section and go on to Mention Monday. Now, like I said, this is going to be quite controversial today, so please bear with me. I'll talk more about it later on. So, stay tuned. It's not going to go well, but I'll talk about it later. Okay, so Mention Monday. So these are the people that commented on the video since the last podcast. So this week we thank very much to these few people. Spudley Dudley, Bernard Tamur, Dragonlord 55511, Horia, Max Ravage, and Hax Dark. Yes, I just double checked that one. I didn't know if it said Hex Dark, but it's not. It's Hax Dark. Yeah, so thank you very much for commenting on the videos since last week. Hopefully you enjoyed them. Let me know in the future if you like them or not, or if you want them to be changed anyway, because soon we're going to be starting up the whole revamping everything up, and hopefully you'll enjoy it, because I can't wait. I'm so excited to just tidy up all this stuff on this channel. Anyway, let's now get on to the Q&A then. So we have 2 questions this week. First one is from Dragonlord 55511, who says, "Hello, Sir JD262. I have a question and a riddle for you. Question: what is your favourite fruit preservation?" Ooh, sorry. Now, do you mean the method or do you mean the type? I'm going to assume it's the type. So I'm going to say like jam. I like a bit of jam. Don't really eat many other preservations, I suppose. So jam. I'll say jam. Probably strawberry jam, but smooth strawberry jam. Don't like the bits because I don't like strawberries. Shock. Everyone seems to like strawberries, but I do not. Strawberries, tomatoes, and mushrooms. Ugh. Worst things in the world. And then we've got a riddle. There are the 3 lives. Oh, sorry. These are the 3 lives of mine. So gentle I soothe the skin. So light I caress the sky. So hard I crack rocks. What am I? Hint, it is the element that gives life to oceans, forests, and everything else. It is the very thing that you need to make your tea leaves and liquid to make your tea, as well as the opponent element of fire. It'll be water, because so gentle it soothes the skin. Only warm water. Hot water would probably scald the skin. So light it caresses the sky with the horizon, I suppose. And so hard it cracks rocks, which, yes, that's called weathering. Yes, I know that. So yeah, that's that one then. And we go on to the last... No, oh, sorry, we've got 3 questions this week. Never mind. So we go on to the next question, which is from Spudley Dudley, who says a riddle. A 7-letter word containing thousands of letters. What am I? Now, it was said in the comments that it was very easy and that I would get it straight away. I did not. And I googled it, and now I know why I did not get it. The answer is mailbox. Now, few things why this is something that I did not get. Number 1, mailboxes are not British. British ones are post boxes. And then the second point is thousands of letters and fortune. Well, hold on. You can be clever here, I suppose. I would say that post boxes are very in decline now. Like, not many people use post boxes. In fact, they're actually disappearing from Britain. The red post boxes, they're disappearing. The same with the red phone boxes. They're disappearing like mad because no one uses them anymore. You know, technology evolves. Now letters aren't really sent that often. It's more emails now, and it's... You know, that's the difference. So that's what I was going to say. However, you could also argue the fact that I'm thinking could also argue the fact that each letter has thousands of letters on it. Like A is a letter, B is a letter, C is a letter. So you could argue that fact. But if you argue that fact, you could also change the 7-letter thing to more like a 10-letter one and say it's also a dictionary. But that's my 2 cents on it. But I didn't get it straight away, so I did fail. That's my reasons why. You could also have said postbox, but like I said, dying medium letters are. Not many people do that. And then we go on to the last question for this week, and I apologise, this is probably where the controversy is going to start. You may not know it yet, but we'll get onto it. But Hacks Dark says, JD, why to not play a new gameplay like Zelda, Uncharted 4, The Witcher 3, or whatever again? That can be a famous. Now, I assume here what you're saying is why do I not play like newer games, such as obviously those games I read off. That's how I'll be more well known. Now, it all boils down to the fact that I don't particularly mind not being famous. I would like it, of course, everyone would, but I don't pursue that. I pursue to have fun. And am I recording? I am recording. Good. I pursue to have fun. It's like, it's said a lot, but they always say YouTube is like therapy. That's kind of like what it is for me. I enjoy it. It's like a nice little thing. I could also write you an essay about all the different health benefits of doing stuff like this, but we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, why do I not play newer games? Well, in this new sort of like restructure that I'm going to try and hopefully plan out and sort of sort out, I'm looking at doing more new release games because that's what I want to do. Like, that's why I'm playing Assassin's Creed like so often, is because I want to get to the end of the series so that when the new one comes out I can play it straight away, because that's what I want to do. I want to do latest games. I want to do sort of like more review stuff. I'm not really a PC gamer, so I don't really get the chance to do a lot of Steam release games, although I wouldn't mind getting Steam, but again, PC games not really my thing, unfortunately. But yeah, I would love to do new release games, like with your one specifically, Zelda Breath of the Wild. See, that's not really connected to the other Zelda games, so I could possibly do stuff again. But then you got to think about Zelda is owned by Nintendo, and Nintendo is very draconian with who they let do videos in terms of copyright, so that might not be a possibility. Uncharted 4, bleh. I think you have to be massive to get Uncharted 4 copyright agreements with Sony. Or who owns it? Is it Naughty Dog that owns it, or is it Sony? I think Sony might own the rights to Uncharted. I'm not too sure. I know Naughty Dog made it, but I think Sony owns the rights. So something like that I can't do. I know some people do it, but that's either one of 2 reasons. Either they have been given permission because they're quite big, or they haven't been given permission and they do it illegally, which they probably might not get caught, but I don't want to go down that line. That's not my line. And The Witcher 3, that is something else that we'll talk about that's completely different. Actually, this is quite cool because it's all sort of covered. The different annals of why I don't do certain games. The Witcher 3 is something I can do. The game developers actually have given permission to people to do it. But the question of why I wouldn't jump straight into Witcher 3 is because I want to do number 1 and number 2 first. Because I don't like to start halfway through the series. So that's why I'll do that. But Witcher is definitely something you'll see in the future because I really want to do that one, but I'm not sure when yet. But that's basically the reasons. It's all down to copyright and all that sort of bits and bobs. But I would like to do some more lure release games, but that'll be more in the future when we get there. Anyway, right, so that's it for this week's Q&A. Apologise. We'll see why later. Now we're going to go on to subscribers. So last podcast we were at 1,288. We're now at 1,290. That's an increase of 2 names, but we have 1 name that's been added to the list, and this is Angel White. So thank you very much for joining the community. If you have a favourite colour, let me know. I wonder if it is white. I don't know. We'll soon find out. But yes, so thank you and welcome to the community. Now we're going to go on to the question. Again, I apologise, but we'll go straight on to this week's question. And this week's question is, do you class yourself as a pessimist, an optimist, or a realist? Now, just in case you don't know the difference, a pessimist always looks at the negative sides of life. They're like, oh, probably going to rain. Like someone would, all right, let's go through this. So an optimist, a realist would look outside, tell you what the weather is. They're quite real. They'll say, oh, it's raining today. An optimist would look like, oh, it's raining today, but it might get sunny later. And then a pessimist will be like, oh, it's raining again. Probably going to rain all day now. That's a pessimist. So my question to you is, what one are you? I am definitely and obviously a optimist because I am a product of Disney, and that is me, optimist. It's going to get sunny later, I promise. And that is that. So let me know what you think. Now we're going to go on to this week's comment, which is kind of like the whole controversy thing that I said I'm going to talk about this week. Now, unfortunately, I have missed off some comments this week because a few of them were quite good. I enjoyed them. I did get one of the questions because that's why it wasn't in the Q&A, hence why I said. And a few of them were a little bit negative and a little bit sort of like, sort of gets to you. So for that particular reason is because this place is more, it's a happy place. It's not a place where people could be negative and stuff like that. So that's why I've sort of excluded some comments this week. So I apologise for that. I don't like doing this sort of thing, but I feel like, just to sort of iterate, what the mood is for this channel is. That's why I've taken it off. This week's comment actually goes to Max Ravage. It's not a particular comment, it's just because Max has been very positive this week. He's having a lot of good things happening outside of the channel, so it's completely unrelated, but it's all going good for him, and it's nice to hear. I like it when people are positive and happy, so that's why I'm giving it this week's comment to Max Ravage, because he is very happy, and I appreciate his happiness. It comes through, it shines through. I'm choking on my own words. Ugh. It wasn't intentional, I promise. Yeah, but there we go then. Well done, Max Ravage, for being very happy this week and positive. Cool. There's definitely a theme going on in this episode, isn't there? You can probably tell. Anyway, let's go on to this week's goals. So last week's goal was to get the next podcast up by Monday, and that has happened. We have done that. Well, actually, no, this is not out on Monday. This is out on Sunday, hopefully. Yeah, it will be. No. Hit and miss. It's going to be late tonight, early Monday morning. So kind of, it worked. I got the goal done. But the other one was to get the next podcast out by Wednesday. Probably going to happen. Everything's ready. It's being rendered out already. So, by the time all those videos are uploaded, the podcast should be ready to be released. So we'll find out and see what happens. Which means we'll be back on track after that, because then I've just got to upload the week's videos for this week actually happening, and hopefully they'll be out this week. A little bit obviously off schedule, but they'll be out this week, because after the next podcast, which is the podcast for the 20th, and they'll just have to upload the videos like the 5 or less. Upload those videos by the end of Friday, and then obviously we'll be back on track, and then on the Monday I can do a proper podcast, and that'll be on the 27th. That'll be the first proper podcast back on track, and hopefully it'll all be good. But that is that. So now we'll go on to the outros. So last week's what film? What was it? I can't remember. It was What's You'll Be in My Heart. No matter where you are. Blah 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 blah. All the lyrics. It was from Tarzan. Someone did get it correct. I do believe it was Dragon Lord 55511. So well done, my good sir. You got Tarzan correct. Everyone likes a bit of Tarzan. In fact, does anyone not like Tarzan? I mean, there's bound to be some people, but I'm surprised. Okay, then, so let's finish a cup of tea. Oh, well, we're not finishing because I need it for Dishonored next. We'll be going on to the final mission. I'm recording the final mission, guys. Don't know how long it's going to take me, but we'll find out. But yeah, so until the next time we meet, I'll just say farewell. And this week, I will leave you with what TV show? It's a difficult one, but I've just seen one of the episodes and it was, beautiful.